Sharpies, we's back.
Hello,
Just in time
everyone.
for Father's Day. How's everybody doing? I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens. It's good to see you all. And
Yep, Battle of the Sharpies. We have
Woo!
somebody's pulled ahead in the Battle of the Sharpies. Anthony got outclassed
It
by
was neck and neck, as a matter of fact. They both popped in at the same time. James edged you out a little bit. Yeah, reunited, and it
and it
feels.
feels so good. Reunited and it's understood. Trump is a prick and we gon' talk all our shit. It's joy and time united cause we reunited. Hey, hey. Is that good enough for you?
Don't act like you didn't like it.
You kind of stole it, Anthony, with the reunited thing because I was gonna do don't do the crime if you can't do the time. No, 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 no. That's the theme song of Beretta, by the way, for us Gen
Thank you, because I
Xers.
was like, where did you get this song from?
That's Beretta. Robert Blake, before he was a murderer, was a hardened detective in New York City. Keep your eye on the sparrow. Yeah, that was a good ass thing.
Yeah, it was back when they used
Yeah,
to have like whole orchestral
I mean,
arrangements for a TV show. Yeah,
yeah, that song should have been a single.
right.
Yeah, Joy's frames are exquisite. You're absolutely right, Anthony.
Oh, thank you.
Um, so we've been gone, and a lot of stuff has happened. Not the least of which was our former president, 45, was convicted 34 times, and as Adam Schiff likes to say, he went in the congressional record saying he wanted to start off his commentary by quoting from the jury in Trump's trial, and he just said, "Guilty, guilty, guilty." He just kept saying guilty, which is what the jury did, to be fair. And just on Monday, a couple of days ago, Trump had to sit down, albeit via Zoom, and meet with the parole board to discuss what what his conditions were, which would inform their decision about what the recommendation for parole was. So, Joy, if you were on that parole board, what would you be recommending? We know that it was like four years possible per charge up to a cap. So if they capped out the possibility of what the maximum was, it would still cap out at like 25 years. So knowing that that's not going to happen, what would you say your judgment would be?
So I would take everything into account to get what I want as a biased but not publicly person that's in charge of the sentencing. I don't want you around no more. So what I would do is, considering the number of burgers that he eats and his overall general health, I'm going to give him another 15 years of menacing living people. So let's say the sentence is house arrest without possibility of if he's going to be out on parole, he's on house arrest without possibility of removing that ankle bracelet. I want you in Mar-a-Lago. Your prison is now the extent of this golf course. Don't go nowhere. Don't talk to nobody. Shut the hell up for the next 15 years, and then hopefully he'll be too dead to say anything after that.
Wow, 50! You're getting 15. That's a lot.
Well, only the good die young, so I feel like he'll. I mean, look at look at the rest of them. Mitch McConnell is 109 years old.
Dude. I know the T-Rex. They just announced that they are going to start filming, or that they have started filming Jurassic World 4.
Why?
And I kind of feel like Mitch is probably a consultant on the film, just from the perspective of his
on
people
dinosaur skincare
being represented.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really weird where we're living, because right now it was, the Justice Department has been weaponized, kangaroo court, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the president's own whole ass son also got convicted on trumped up unintended charge about this gun thing, which is almost never prosecuted, especially when there wasn't an underlying offense.
Mm-hmm.
He owned the gun about 11 days before his girlfriend threw it away. So, and this was years and years ago. So why? I mean, we know why,
Mm-hmm.
but it's interesting to me that Biden is playing it as coolly as he is, because he knows where his strength is in this argument, which is, I let my own son get prosecuted by the DOJ. So why don't we shut all the hell up?
Exactly. If he doesn't pull any strings and lets his son twist in the wind, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you did this shit. So it's a trumped up charge. It's a bunch of nonsense. There are a lot of other hardened criminals out there that need to be chasing, but you still did that shit. You got caught. It's okay. Go down for it. And then it gives Biden a moral high ground. Mm-hmm. And then if he really wanted to get on the Christian conservatives' nerves, who's the dude? That shows you my heathenness. Who's the dude that almost sacrificed his son in the Bible? Was it?
It was Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah, if Abraham, he could say, I, like Abraham, is willing to sacrifice my son for the good of the world. That's a powerful ass story. And it's something that either the conservative Christians have to get behind, like, wow, that's true, or they demonize it, which makes all the other Christians be like, I mean, damn. Like, if he would go harder, and there's actually a video that I meant to send you, a guy talking about if he was in Biden's campaign group.
Oh, no, I saw that. It was just long.
Yeah.
It was like 8 minutes long.
Yeah, he had a lot of good points, though, in that.
He did.
I'd be scrubbing the ground with the dirt that I bring up. I would not take the whole high road. The high road is lonely, empty, and there's no road to the presidency up there. So let's go ahead and dig this hole. Like to say, if they go low, I will scrub the ground and talk about all the things, remind people of all the fuckery that has happened. Even if you want to keep it January 6th and forward, in the last 4 years, what kind of bullshit has happened? Let's talk about it. And remind people that Trump is not your friend.
Mm-mm.
Similar to how
I don't need your votes. I don't care about you. I just want your votes and the losers and whatever. Those are things you said, bro. Like, yeah. And while we're on the topic of losers, Steve Bannon, who has been told he has to report to jail on July 1st. We're barely 2 weeks away from July 1st, and he's trying another Hail Mary, talking about emergency relief for appeal, blah, 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 blah. It's not happening, Steve. No. Just go to jail. Just go to jail for 4 months.
Right. Yeah, 4 months, dude. You can handle it. This is what also gets me about people who ascribe to the idea of white supremacy. And notice how I put that. I didn't say white people. People who ascribe to the idea of white supremacy, which spans a lot of colors. But one thing I don't get is if the white race is supposedly, in their mindset, superior in every way, you can't handle a little jail time like these weak, raggedy ass people of color. Are you too delicate for that? If you're so delicate and so fragile that you can't do a few months, since you're such a robust picture of health, why would I trust you with anything else?
Punk. I mean, but also Oz. Them white people in Oz was like,
Christopher Maloney. Oh my
God. Listen. So you go from Oz to SVU. That's an interesting travel back in time.
Facts.
Talking about put a thing down, flip it, and reverse this. It's your
Kim and Ice-T.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
From cop killer to SVU.
Right.
Oh, ice. Oh, ice. What a cooling beverage. So Trump has a lot of people that are in trouble again. Some of his co-conspirators who helped with the various schemes in the states. Wisconsin is the latest battleground that is undergoing those things. And Chesbro is back in the hot seat because of his shenanigans. As we just mentioned, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, his past finally got caught up with him, and they are doing a fire sale. Everything must go. They are liquidating everything. He's fake crocodile tearing on the thing. They don't love our children. The reason you lost your life, dude, is because you were hating on children. Let's be clear. You hated on those 20 children that were murdered in Sandy Hook. That's exactly why this happened to you. Not because of all the other bullshit you were spewing for your entire career. You picked this hill to die on. Dead children.
So die on it.
Die on it.
I'll wait.
You have opened the Ark of the Covenant and your flesh is melting off right now because you are just dumb as hell.
Yo, that melted wax imagery will be in my mind for the rest of my life. And
especially the bald one with the glasses. It is like, that's you, Alex Jones. That's you right now crying because Lord, the vengeance of the Lord is streaming out of the Ark of the Covenant. Mm-hmm. That's all that we have for you. So it's kind of a wrap. We kind of breezed through Hunter Biden. Let me just say this, Hunter, it's a shame when the thing that put you away was you dry snitching on yourself to sell a book. You ain't have to say I was smoking crack every day and went to buy a gun. They played your words from your audiobook in the trial.
I mean, it's the same way that they were using some rap lyrics to go after rappers who are admitting to crimes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if the whole crime is fabricated, fine, you'd be let off. But if you're like, yeah, on January 9th at 2 a.m., I'm outside your window, bang, bang, they never found the body, you're going to jail.
It's like, I remember it as clear as a bell. I was watching the January 14th episode of The View, and Whoopi was talking about Hunter. And you were sleeping with your brother's widow. You were doing a lot, Hunter.
How did I miss that? Oh, I just got a headache.
You were doing a lot, Hunter.
I literally just got a headache when you said that.
I feel like that Hunter Biden's conviction is the perfect, the more you know, it's like the more you know about smoking crack. And
it's also karma, man. You slept with your brother's widow. Yeah, you deserve to go to jail for that. I can't even defend you, bro. It might be why Biden didn't do nothing for you.
Well,
you might not be shit, Hunter.
Listen, it's
everything he's accused of. This is the thing that I'm like, oh hell no.
Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty awful. But to his credit, not only has Biden said that he won't pardon his son, he has said he's not going to fight the verdict either. Hunter is going to appeal, obviously. Mm-hmm. He's not immediately going to be taken into custody. There probably will not be an image of him in handcuffs before the election, mm-hmm. just because of the way things go. He is the scion of the president of the United States. And so you figure some things are different. But let's be clear. This is also unprecedented. We had a little bit of a scandal with Billy Beer and Jimmy Carter and all of that. We had Iran-Contra, but that slipped off a duck's back. You had Nixon, Ford pardoned him. There have been scandals, certainly. Mm-hmm. And to be not, Jared getting $2.5 billion should have been broken up into a much bigger thing than it was, but no criminal charges, none of that. This is the sitting president of the United States whose son is being railroaded,
yeah,
on a charge that would not have been filed if he were not the president's son. Let's be clear about that.
Put it that way.
It just wouldn't have happened. Because, and where are, by the way, where are the NRA people? The NRA people who would
NRA can't come out saying anything about Democrats because they've aligned themselves with their true party of the racists.
And this is a situation, though, if you can imagine it, he only got caught because he had to fill out something that the NRA feels he shouldn't have to fill out anyway. Because his ability to purchase a gun should be unrestricted in all instances. Mm-hmm. So there shouldn't be any universal background checks, according to the NRA.
Yeah, this would make a great case for it, but they can't say anything because their base is the Republican base, and at the way that they've drummed up so much foaming at the mouth, not them but the Republicans in general, you can't even say Biden had a nice tie on. They will beat you up and abandon you. You know, you can't even get caught flipping past Rachel Maddow. You are shunned. You know,
Right. Well, you're right. You ain't never lied about that.
yeah, they're operating from a base of fear right now. Either
Oh yeah.
fear in the form of hatred because people are afraid of change, or fear of losing their position, losing their power. But everybody over there is scared. Every
You
last
know,
one.
it's funny. I saw something that one of my frat brothers shared, and they were big upping Dr. Well, not Dr. Umar. And he was saying that Black people are the only people who vote based on fear. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, that's the entire GOP right now. Immigrants are going to come over and rape you or kill you or push drugs onto you.
Right.
Democrats are going to raise your taxes or teach your kids to be upset with themselves and turn into snowflakes because of DEI. Black people are coming to steal your jobs, or Black people are coming to steal your positions at a university with things that they don't. You're going to be turned into a communist. It's all fear mongering. That's the entire GOP platform. It's nothing about positive America's people.
You have to understand language. And you have to understand words in order to understand the nuances of what fear really looks like. I don't expect that of Dr. Umar. So,
but also he's a dummy. He just likes saying stuff that certain
it sounds good and it feels good to somebody that wants to believe it.
That somebody would say that, but you're really denigrating Black people by saying that they are motivated by fear instead of critical thinking and their own self-interest, because everything that the GOP is doing right now, having that idiot, it's not Dobson. I don't think it's Dobson who said it's the other guy, not Tim Scott, the other guy who's trying to be.
Yeah, those three that were sitting around the table talking about, isn't your constituency white? Yeah, mine's white too. Mine is, well, so what are they talking about? We got elected. We're Black and white because you don't represent Black interests.
Black people. But
white
also,
people will absolutely vote for you if you don't represent Black people.
The dude who said that Black families were better under Jim Crow.
Oh yeah, on Joy Ann Reid's show, crazy. Yeah. But again, you're trying to get a soundbite that you think is going to get you some traction, but you went up against a Black woman, and that ain't what you want.
No. And also, my son Hakeem Jeffries was very quick to say, "Oh, you mean in Jim Crow when they could be lynched, when a Black father could be lynched?
Yeah,
that was better for Black families when their possessions could be stolen." Like
and the rate of fathers in the home is pretty equal across all races. The same way the rate of race on race crime is equal across all races. Black on Black crime isn't any higher than white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime. You know why? Because they live in neighborhoods.
But also, your superstar, better than Jesus Savior, abandoned his daughter to go marry.
The one he didn't want to bang.
Right. Well, he abandoned all three of his children to sire a baby with the woman that he left their mother for, and then left that mother and abandoned that family. So he's double dipped. That's two families he abandoned.
He's a fuckboy.
he's Fotis.
Yes.
Not Flotus, Fotis.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we are, because people in this country, especially, and listen, a congressional salary is a good thing to have. And if you can get elected, I think you have to be elected 3 terms in order to get the lifelong whatever pension. So that's not a bad hustle if you can get elected 3 times. And if you say whatever you need to say in order to get elected 3 times, that you give yourself $100-something thousand just for chilling, just for having served for the rest of your life and unlimited health care and all that, you may think that 6 years of selling your soul is enough. You may actually, in some dark portion of your mind, feel that what you're saying is in some way true, or it's at least advantageous to you. Mm-hmm. But you've got to live after that. You are not going to continue to be elected. There's not going to be any Mitch McConnellishness for Dobson. If you don't do what you were supposed to do, if you don't get the votes you were supposed to get, your efficacy is in question. And once you have no value, you are done, because they will slot in any available white boy to replace you. Yeah. Trust and believe. Marjorie Taylor Greene got elected. That arguably the dumbest person to ever be elected into Congress. And that's saying a lot, because there have been a lot of dummies. But
right. I mean, that's considering going back to the early formative years of the United States when people didn't have a high school education. She's still the dumbest.
No, she's super dumb. And I don't know if any of you saw this. Somebody dug up an American Idol audition of a woman who looks a lot like Marjorie Taylor Greene, at least in one still frame. She really looks like her in one frame.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up singing a Jodeci song.
It was terrible.
It was so horrible.
It was like she had to be a plant as an actress because nobody comes on that show thinking they can sing. Even you sound crazy, but she belted something out. And it did look a whole lot like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It did look a lot
this
like.
This came out right around the time they were talking about bleach blonde, bad built bush body.
Bad body. Mm-hmm. Boogie blue, whatever it is. Yeah, it was hilarious. Now, if they had taken the extra step of AIing her saying Marjorie, it would have been complete, but it's a completely different name, and mm-hmm. Marjorie hasn't changed her name. It does look a lot like her. It's funny to laugh at because she looks like she's experiencing a seizure, right? In addition to sounding like hell.
Her voice sounds like if a cat decided to cry in a tube. It's terrible.
And this is in the old days of American Idol. It's Paula Abdul looking at you.
Right. It's VHS footage.
Abdul is critiquing your voice. Think about that. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving Paula Abdul, who's been auto-tuned to within an inch of her existence.
So while we're talking about the courts, etc., let's we'll go from local to high and discuss Fani Willis real quick.
Well, that's your home, girl. Go on ahead and kick it off.
I can't because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so Fani Willis, the reason her trial ground to a halt was because her choice of a boyfriend created an opportunity for them to create a tempest in a teapot.
Oh yeah, we know all that. What's the strikes back part?
So the strikes back is that they tried to, now they have gone and they want to try to appeal the verdict that she should not be removed. Trump's people went and said she should be removed. And so Fani, today, it was either today or yesterday, came back because she is actually a lawyer. She's actually the top lawyer in her county. And she said, so the entire basis of this appeal is a questioning of the finding of fact of the judge in the case. And the judge's finding of fact cannot be superseded with a new finding of fact from the appellate. What they can say, if something was wrongly decided or something like that, but they can't disagree with the findings of the judge because the lowercase judge who actually heard everything, experienced everything, and was in the courtroom, his discretion on adjudicating that is very, very powerful. And there's only a few things that you can do. And this entire appeal is predicated on questioning his finding of fact, which is in and of itself improper, which means this motion to dismiss this appeal should be granted. And the circuit needs to consider that. They need to consider, the appellate court needs to consider her motion. Even if they deny her motion, she can immediately seek to have it elevated to the Supreme Court. And while she's doing that, because they get to file their motions and then she, as the state, gets to file a response. And so if it found everything that he's trying to do is also stopped. So until her motion is dealt with, his appeal is shut down as well. And if she gets what she wants, which is the denial of the motion, then the lower court ruling automatically is instituted and everything can go forward. It's still not going to happen before the election, but all of the brakes that have been holding it back because of the appeal would now be stopped and loosened. And so even though it's not going to happen before the election, there's no chance of that happening. Mm-hmm. At least things could get back on track and they would not be able to pursue that track anymore.
Okay.
So she hit back hard. It was a multi-page filing, brilliantly argued and executed, because at the end of the day, first of all, Trump is basically trying to say that this relationship with the man and their trips was a motivating factor behind her doing this prosecution, not the underlying
case at all.
That she actually knows it is. She went on vacation a couple of times, and her going on vacation, whether or not she was using her salary or not, That's immaterial. The $5,000 vacation she went on was not an impetus for her to do this. She gets paid regardless. It's not like she's getting extra money
Right.
to
She's
do
not working
this.
on commission.
She's not working on commission. This is the one trial she's doing. She's taken 2 trips and she's been working this case for like 2 years. It's like that's not the factor. And so far, we're in the midst. People have admitted that they've done wrong things. A lot of people have admitted that they've done wrong things, and we were getting up to you. And so Trump is obviously desperate, but if he loses this is another L, and he can't stand L's. He's racking up the L's, and he don't like that. So it's very difficult to see. It was looking one way before the scandal, then the scandal made it look another way. And then the judge split it down the middle and said, well, if he leaves, you're good. And so he left. And then they decided to appeal. And that's when everything went off kilter. But Fani, after being called a hoe by Rudy Giuliani in a fundraiser, who refuses to pronounce her name correctly, even though one could easily look at his name and say Gulilini, he decided to call her a hoe in a fundraiser. Now, you're filing for bankruptcy, sir. So you're about 2 steps away from working the host role yourself.
He ain't got nothing to lose. He is just grabbing things on his way down.
Yeah. So, you can play those games. You find these dwindling audiences, these quote unquote sympathetic people. You're still bankrupt.
Right.
You're trying to hawk coffee.
Nobody wants to watch you melt into a puddle of black goop.
And have you seen the coffee commercial?
No, I haven't seen the coffee commercial.
Rudy is selling coffee, dramatically overpriced coffee. And of course, because the internet's being what they are, made immediate connections to his hair dye coming down his face. And that, so the tagline for Rudy's is good to the last drip.
Ew.
And they showed a coffee cup with black hair dye dripping down the sides. He's got 3 flavors, and with heavily photoshopped images of himself. One as America's mayor, probably from 37 years ago, photoshopped. One, he's sitting in a chair by the ocean drinking coffee, fully dressed. Because when you're at a beach wearing a suit,
you want
sitting in a chair, what you want is a cup of coffee. Because that's refreshing in tropical heat. And then the last one is there's America's Mayor, there's the beach one. Oh, and then there's a decaf one. Anyway, you're never going to buy them. So, but this is what Gulilani is doing, talking about it. You spell F-A-N-I. That's not Fani. That's Fanny.
First of all, you're stupid because Fanny is actually a word and it's spelled F-A-N-N-Y.
N-Y.
What the hell are you getting at?
You've never spelled Fanny F-A-N-I ever in your life.
I can't stand that type of posturing where you decide you're going to stand on some ridiculous rule or spelling or what have you and say, and this is why I'm going to disrespect you to your face. I just saw this British woman try to do it to one of her colleagues around pronouns. Basically saying I'll respect your pronouns, but the grammar is wrong and the grammar is not. And so,
it was a they. Yeah, they is used for an indeterminate group or individual.
I comment an example right under. It's like, Mom, there's a bill collector on the phone. Tell them I'm not here.
Right.
We know how to do this. I don't know why we act stupid. What they say.
You don't know if it's a man or a woman, so you just say them because you cover it.
Somebody left a wallet. Who did you call them? Same thing. Anyway, back to I want to really reiterate something I say on this show quite often. You don't want the smoke when it comes to Black women. And even though I've been kind of hiding under a rock last couple of days, so I hadn't heard about her statement.
Clapback.
Thank you. It's beautiful. It's to be expected. And I know y'all didn't think she's going to let y'all just do this. Y'all out y'all mind. We keep showing you in word, in deed, in fact, in everything, Black women are not ones with which to be fucked. And I don't know why y'all keep trying it. And I'm loving the fact that even on the other end of the spectrum, we're starting to get that that go with the black wife effect that we talked about before. I keep seeing additional white men say the most amazing things like, my wife is the blood in my veins. Like, damn, wow. And they do look better. But since we were talking about finally potentially having to take it up to the Supreme Court, let's get into that, because the Supreme Court, they actually agreed on something for a change, right?
Did something that was not awful,
Mm-hmm.
which is exceedingly rare, and unanimous, which is another super duper surprise.
Mm-hmm.
That's stunning.
Right.
So
So mifeprestone is one of the two pills that are part of a cocktail that has been labeled, for layman's terms, a chemical abortion. So up to 10 weeks of gestation, you can take one pill, mifeprestone, which prepares your body to take another pill, which is going to force contractions to cause a spontaneous miscarriage, but it's a chemical abortion. Now, mifeprestone is one of the safest drugs in that vein of drugs that's ever been approved by the FDA. I think it started in 2000, and then they made it a little bit easier for people to get access to it. And this is where the doctors group that is suing is trying to have a problem with it. Access shouldn't be as easy. It's easier for me to get a tab of codeine than it is to get mifeprestone. So it wasn't like it was out here, being mixed in waters or drinks at clubs, anything like that. But the Supreme Court recognized that if they started down this road, since they've gone down so many roads already, if you start down this road, you call into question any FDA decision, because the FDA said it was safe and the FDA said it was approved to do certain things, blah, blah, blah. If you question the FDA's decision, and people want to say that, oh, they thought it through and justice and they got it right. No, they didn't. It's always money, because who else is interested in the FDA? The dairy lobby, the fruit lobby, the genetically modified organisms lobby. They need the FDA to have unquestionable authority over what is sold to us. So there's no way the Supreme Court is going to endanger the FDA's ability to make money for Monsanto. Just to throw out a name, I'm not saying Monsanto's done anything wrong. I don't want no smoke. It's just the first name that came to mind. I don't know what they do. Okay.
they do a lot. Well, and the other part is that they didn't make a ruling on the merits. They made a ruling on the technicality of the people attempting to bring the suit not having standing.
Yeah.
So basically they said, you can't just decide that you don't want other people to have access to a drug because you don't like it.
Right.
So you don't have standing, and so we're just going to swat it down. Now, why it took them that long to do that, as opposed to waiting until June, when this is where they dump all of the stuff that they don't want to have to deal with. Obviously the biggest thing that we're waiting on from SCOTUS is whether or not Trump has a point on immunity for January 6th. That's the most substantive thing that from a television news angle that people are waiting on. Obviously, they have dozens of cases that we're going to hear announcements on. But the very fact that it was a unanimous decision on something that has split the court along ideological lines, that anything relating to abortion, is a testament to the fact that Alito and Thomas are feeling heat right now. Clarence Thomas has just, over the past week or so, had to release more and more information about the trips that he was getting from his best friend. Just released 3 more trips that had been previously unaccounted for today. So flying to Asia and and he has finally admitted that he should have made an announcement about these expenditures in the past. Now, as a consequence of this, there is actually legislation. Obviously, in the House at present, with the 1-seat majority that the GOP has, it's probably not going anywhere. But they are bringing up legislation to say that justices may not accept anything over $50 as a gift. Just like they have to. Anything over $50, they have to report. You can't even accept it if it's over $50. And he said, look, they make $300,000 a year. You can pay for your own flights and your own coffee.
Right.
It's no need. $300,000 is a lot of money. Now, you obviously want to live with your beach house, Alito, where you're flying the appeal to heaven flag and doing upside down flags and claiming of your own volition that is not an appearance of conflict to anybody who is not politically biased. If you don't flap them robes and sit your ass down on a spike,
Mhm.
you lying ass. Even he had to nut up and roll with this. And
Right.
I guarantee you the only reason he did it was because it was on a standing. If they had tried to come and say, no, this drug is safe and you guys need to shut up and it's never going to not be
He
legal,
would have disagreed. Yeah.
he would have stepped and been in opposition. He would have had a dissenting view.
Mhm.
But because they decided standing was going to be where they were going to leave it this time, he
Mhm.
figures court's about to go out of session. By the time it comes around next year, maybe Trump will be in office and then it won't ever da da da
And
da
then
da da
back the
da.
whole ass all over again. Yeah.
Correct. And what they said, what the analysis is honestly that either Biden or Trump, based on the Comstock Act, which is one of the underlying things that people are trying to use, because they're saying that because during COVID, mifeprestone, the pairing of drugs were allowed to be mailed. And so once those were mailed and they are classified as abortifacients, the Comstock Act, which is from 1862, maybe
What? Yeah.
72, way back then, more than a century old, that it's an outdated law that really shouldn't be on the books anymore, but it's never been revoked. And of course, with the Republican almost majorities, it's not likely to be struck down. But that's where we are. We're in a situation where they're trying to use the Comstock Act against these medications, which have been FDA approved. And so we got a temporary pause. The Supreme Court can't stick Trump with another weight around his neck around this issue, because they know that abortion is a huge motivating driver during this
Yeah.
election cycle. So they didn't give another millstone around his neck. They said, hey, we're going to throw you a bone and you get this. But please don't think, because if President Trump does get into office with an executive order, he can negate the ability for this to be sent.
And so
Don't.
this changes the game a little bit for a lot of people who may have been deciding to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
It's putting more people with skin in the game. I told y'all, keep fucking around, you're gonna find out. If you don't want it to happen, nobody is voting for I want this.
Mm-mm.
Everybody's voting for I don't want
Don't
this.
want
So
that.
vote for what you don't want,
Right.
and
You
then
don't
run
want
for office yourself.
And that's one of the things. It's like I was literally on a round table. We were discussing the political engagement of this cycle and how young people are disenchanted and everything else. I said, listen, AOC was a bartender at some point before she became a legislator.
Mm-hmm.
She's a young woman. She's brilliant and she's tearing it up. She's one of the few names nationwide who has name recognition in Congress. I mean, I would say there's probably fewer than 30. And a bunch of those are because they're assholes.
Mm-hmm.
So between Jim Jordan and Comer and MTG and Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz, there aren't very many people who are shining stars. And AOC is definitely one of them. Eric Swalwell is clearly auditioning to be president. Adam Schiff is trying to become a senator. There's stuff going on. Katie Porter. There are names that are out there. Ilhan, perhaps, Tlaib. Your soror, sister girl with the bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Yeah,
girl.
Jasmine Crockett.
There are people who are out there doing things, but if you want to be a person who changes things, stop thinking that president is the only race that is going on. Let's be clear. That is not the only one. It's not even technically the most important one.
True.
All of those congressional seats are up. And, if you feel as strongly as you do, take the fact that you don't have student debt thanks to Joe Biden anymore and pull together a campaign and run.
Right.
But guess what? It's not Cornel West. Cornel West is not going to be president.
No.
But I just need you to understand that. And you staying at home because you don't want to vote for Biden is not the solution either.
Mm-mm. Effectively, what you're doing is putting your head in the sand until things get better, and nothing's going to get better.
Nothing's going to get better. Listen, Fallout is on Amazon right now. Don't be confused. We're not too far away from there. The Last of Us, we're not that far off.
We are one botched biological weapon away from The Last of Us.
Thank you. And I remember the creepiest thing about The Last of Us, the thing that was most tragic to me about The Last of Us is the very first episode when that virus or that fungus, it wasn't even cordyceps, when
Mm-hmm.
that fungus spread and they put a nuclear bomb in China or wherever it was, and it still wasn't enough to burn it. They knew that heat would kill it, but they didn't catch it fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, it's the quiet place up in this bitch. And so all of these dystopian things, Civil War, thank God it came in and out of theaters, but these things, we are heartbeats away.
Hang on.
Okay, go ahead. We are heartbeats away from having these things made manifest in our own country. So my plea to you as young folks, first of all, there's a lot going on in Israel, Palestine. It is a complex, decades long, nearly century long conflict. And it is not going to be solved by any one person in any one administration. It just isn't. But guess what? Trump is definitely not on the side of the Palestinians.
Absolutely.
Trump is the one who is claiming that he put the Israeli parliament back. So don't get it confused. You're not being spiteful and sending a message. You are acting against your own interests
and acting against the interests of the very people you're trying to help.
You want to help,
right? Because they also are counting on you to make a decision between bad and worse.
Yep. And at least
since we were talking about dystopian futures and whatnot, I'm always like looking at different health drinks. This is the most recent health drink that is available.
Oh Lord, yes, I saw that. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that when that product came out.
Right.
And if for those of you, again, we're Gen Xers, so we were around when these movies kind of came out. The Soylent, right? Which is, I mean, I guess they're just depending on the fallibility of memory. The key line in the movie of Soylent Green, because that was the name of the movie, Soylent Green. It's about the future and people are starving, and the thing that is keeping people alive is this nutritional supplement called Soylent. And so it's supposed to be a combination of soy and lentils. And so everybody thinks that the various flavors of Soylent are these great things, and Soylent Green is the newest one. And the thing at the end of the movie that we find out is it Charlton Heston? It's got to be
Charlton Heston.
Soylent Green is people. So you eat powdered people. You're eating powdered grandma. That's what Soylent Green is. Just like in Logan's Run, it was the same thing. Everybody lives until they're 33, and then you go and you get rejuvenated. You get reborn. You think that you're being reincarnated, and they're just using your body to feed the city.
Just like there was one season of that in The Walking Dead where they barbecuing, but who?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If there's no meat available and all of a sudden they barbecuing, don't go over there.
That smells good.
Smells like Robert.
Not Robert. Oh, I remember when Robert used to wear Paco Rabanne. That was his face.
Oh, see, art imitates life. Life imitates art. Thank you, Chan. Chan comes sliding in at an hour late with
right.
But so this group was very aware. They did Soylent on purpose. Okay.
But why? Okay, so Chan, you can give a little more insight if you have, because when I saw it years and years ago. This isn't even a brand new drink. I saw it years ago, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" I literally thought it was an internet spoof commercial. I had no idea, and I don't know why. I don't know why you would want your product to be associated with cannibalism.
Because the younger generations of Americans, which are in the gyms and doing supplements, except for me and whatever, their sense of humor is dark, and they tend to be nihilistic, and they would think that this is funny as hell.
I mean, I've never tasted it. And if it actually is made from soy and lentils, I guess that's great. And she pops the glasses off to see.
soy protein, cocoa powder, canola oil, sunflower oils, more shit, tapioca starch,
Okay.
corn, but no lentils.
Okay.
The protein is plant based, but it doesn't say exactly what.
Yeah, Liquid Death, yes, is a brand of water. That's true. Monster energy drinks, da da da
Mhm.
da da. Okay, well, they couldn't have not known because it's not like a 4-year-old created the name. So
Right.
obviously, it was in the anybody who is worth their salt from a patent perspective or from a trademark perspective would do a search, and as soon as you type in Soylent, I guarantee on the first page of Google results. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna verify it
You're
right
gonna
now.
get Soylent Green. Right.
You're going to get Soylent Green. There's no way you're not.
Right. So just to keep things going, we actually, since we're talking movies and things like that, we want to get into something we've talked politics for a little bit. I was telling Tom earlier that I'm getting burnt on talking politics because it makes me mad. I am living the James Baldwin quote that says, to be a black person and be even remotely conscious in the United States of America is to be in a rage all the time. I stay mad. And so Tom tries to cheer me up with things, but we wanted to touch on a couple of things, and we're going to call it the cinematic blackening that's happening right now. There are two things that are out, for your perusal and approval. The first is The Acolyte on Disney Plus, and the other is Bad Boys 4. Which I happened to go see in the movies. It was all right. I like the way it went.
It was perfectly fine. For fans of Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, Don Simpson died, I think cocaine related. And so Bruckheimer was continuing. But because Don Simpson and Bruckheimer were part of this, the production company and his heirs still get proceeds from the sequels. And so it's back to the double lightning bolt instead of the one lightning bolt. It is what you would like from a Bad Boys movie in the way that Top Gun Maverick was what you wanted from a Top Gun movie.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the characters that you've come to love. You still got the wife from the very beginning. You've got what?
I thought she was recast.
Oh, was she?
Martin Lawrence's wife? I think that's a different woman.
Okay, I don't claim to be as much of a fan. I know that the son-in-law is the same kid.
Yo, yeah, he is. Because I remember when he picked her up.
Listen, Marcus's son, rather, Marcus's son-in-law is a beast. That scene alone is one of the best scenes in the whole movie. I kind of found that the things that I liked in this movie were that it was kind of an inversion because Will Smith was always the cool, handsome, rich one, and Marcus was the one who was always kind of and all that. And they kind of flipped it because that's right, Teresa Randall played right. That's right. Yeah, what was she doing? She ain't been that busy. So in this one, Marcus has a near-death experience, and he comes back with this sublime confidence.
Right. He believes he can't die, and so yeah.
Right. And meanwhile, Mike is undergoing panic attacks because he's just got married and he's afraid for his wife, and so it's a flip. It's the first time that dynamic has been flipped. So that was really cool. They kind of tried to build on the relationship between Mike and his son that he discovered he had in the last movie.
Spoiler.
Oh, I mean, if you haven't seen
I'm making a joke. Yeah. But yeah, they build on that.
They build on that. And I mean, Joey Pants is dead because he died in the last movie. Spoiler alert, I guess. And so it was a nice way to kind of button up everything. But you really did get a great payoff to the son-in-law. Vanessa Hudgens is back with the nondescript white boy. And so they're on the team. And it really kind of clicked and worked together. They bring in Joey Pants' daughter and the granddaughter again. So it was silly. There were lots of plot holes, but it's a summer blockbuster. Who cares? It's explosions.
It felt a lot like the Young Avengers, if you're familiar with that. Like, here's the sons and daughters of a lot of people, and this is kind of a passing of the baton. I would absolutely watch a movie that had Marcus's son-in-law
Oh yeah.
and Mike Lowry's son team up on some kind of buddy cop thing to
Oh
go
yeah.
find something and get revenge. I would absolutely watch that. And it would be, because you know what we need? We need more young action stars. We
Right.
still putting out the replacements 21 and whatnot. You know, can we let Sylvester Stallone take a nap? Like, bro is still the icon for action. Why we CGI and Arnold Schwarzenegger? He can't even speak English still. You know, not well, but
What do you mean, Joy?
see what I'm talking about? Um, and they're trying it now with Fall Guy. They're trying to turn Ryan Gosling's pretty ass into an action hero. I don't know if it's going to work. I do think
Oh
the
no,
bulk up was helpful, but
I
generally
can tell you that
speaking,
it didn't work because it's already on video on
it's
today.
already. I just,
It did, and you know what else didn't work? Furiosa.
mm,
Furiosa fell out of movie theaters, and the biggest problem is that in its first week, Garfield actually
not get
beat.
took out by the orange cat.
I mean, and then Bad Boys. Bad Boys is actually the official. This is the first blockbuster of the summer. Bad Boys opened to like $125 million worldwide, 56 odd million dollars domestically, and that was well above projections. So, to your point, Joy, I don't know that I could watch Marcus's son-in-law as a lead. He still is kind of goofy looking, but he handled biz. When I tell you, whoo, boy, that scene, boy, whoo, that is a scene to watch. Go on ahead and go see that. I'm gonna take. I went myself. My sons want to see it. Coco doesn't want to see it until he sees the other movies. So I said, you're gonna go find him on stream. And I said, you have to at least watch 1 and 3.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say 2 is not as important in terms of the setup for 4, but 1 and 3 for sure, because 3 brings in the character of his son, and you kind of gotta know
that part.
And then
but I
will
say this. So, you know, you're like, you know, I don't know if I could watch it with him as a lead. I think we're already got a Bad Boys 5 coming, because there's some things, the way they set everything up. You could envision at some point down the road, you know, Marcus's son and Mike Lowry's son doing something together. Maybe even a cameo by Martin Lawrence to get them together. Well, here's his number, give him a call. Maybe y'all could work it out. It's some revenge thing. But neither one of them is a cop, right? So it could genuinely be Bad Boys.
Bad Boys, yeah.
And I could see
bad sons. What you gonna do?
No. But I could see them sharing screen time and then having these breakout moments where the son-in-law goes ham. And I would watch 20 minutes of just clips of him kicking people's ass. It would be great. I'd give you $10 for that.
It is. Let's realize there has not been a Black-led franchise that has gone on this long.
Beware of this. I don't know what kind of magic sorcery bullshit this is, but I did not plan to open this and drink it.
But you drank it.
And I'm done with it.
Is it good?
No.
Oh, it isn't.
What kind of fuckery is this that I continued? It wasn't until I got to this, like, I was like, this ain't good. Like, why am I drinking this?
You really were drinking it.
I'm killing it. Yo, there is some bullshit. I don't know what it is. Nobody's. And this is the last one out of a pack of 4. Why did I keep drinking these?
I enjoyed Bad Boys. I will go see it again. We did have, and one of the best parts of this showing of Bad Boys is that we had one of those little projection errors in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So as I walked out, they gave me a free coupon to come back. So I'll use the free coupon for my son, because I'm A-list. I don't pay for movies anyway, but I will use the coupon for my son so that I don't have to pay next time. It's a good movie. Like I say, as far as Black-led franchises where it's unapologetically Black and lots of Black characters and all of that. Will's wife is Black. Martin's wife is Black. He got the Black son-in-law, Black daughter-in-law.
Black on Black on Black. Yeah.
It's Black on Black on Black on Black. And the antagonists are white. So,
I mean, real life. I also like that I like the maturing of the characters. They're not trying to pretend that the two main cops, you know, Martin and Will Smith, that they are still young. You're seeing the age on their bodies. They're talking about, hey man, you know, you're not supposed to have any more carbohydrates today. You know, like,
Right.
you know, are you watching your sugar intake, man? I don't have to take you back to the hospital. These things are happening in real time. And I'm not sure if it's my imagination or what, but it did feel to me a little bit like Martin Lawrence might have been struggling a little bit.
Oh, I thought in the trailers,
Mm,
I thought he actually ended up showing much better in the movie than in the trailer. I thought in the trailer he sounded like he had a mini stroke or something. I didn't know what was going on with him. I was like, this is a shame. But I thought he showed out very well in the movie. The thing that was
mhm.
distracting, I saw it on IMAX, right? So the thing that was distracting to me is how black Will Smith's beard was. You talk about how people age gracefully. That motherfucker was bigened to within an inch of his life. That beard was black as hell. And I was like, could we have just left a little salt in the pepper? Because I feel it. I'm I'm probably the same age or a little bit younger than Will Smith. Maybe
Mhm.
he might be 1 or 2 years
But Will is
younger.
growing out his hair before and it's been gray or salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Come on,
So
bro.
it's like,
But
bro,
I can understand. I
no, you
hope that
have
that's
to.
not his aesthetic on a day to day, and that they did that for the movie
Oh
because
yeah,
Mike
I'm
Lowry
sure.
would be the type, you know,
Right,
as
to
a
do that.
character to be vain enough to do that. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So it for sure. Now let's get into it.
Yeah.
Because we think uh we know our fans. Let's talk about the Acolyte. Now, I'm gonna say flat out, I don't understand the hate. People talk about it's not Star Wars, blah 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, you all are fooling yourselves. There have been 9 Star Wars movies in main continuity, not including the spin-offs and stuff that
Right. The
are
Clone Wars,
mostly crap. That
Mandalorian, all
Han
of that.
Solo film was
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. Um, you have out of 9, 2 movies that are classics. The original Star Wars, because that was the thing that just lit the world on fire and established George Lucas as the most talented special effects person of the last 40 years. And then he had Empire, which was actually an amazing movie in and of itself, even though it ended on the biggest cliffhanger in cinematic history. But it was also not written nor directed by George Lucas, which was a critical difference. And then you have Jedi, which mostly skated on nostalgia, but was basically a retread of the first movie. And then you got the prequels, which are basically crap, except seeing Yoda do a lightsaber dance, and Ewan McGregor as a very credible Obi-Wan, but otherwise trash. And then the last movies, visually resplendent, but again, recycling, and
Nobody cares about Kylo Ren.
nobody cares about Kylo Ren. Nobody cares about
We hate Ray.
Ridley, whatever, yeah, rank thing. And nobody cared about, oh boy, they suckered that black dude.
Yeah, he said that. Mm-hmm.
Because he was supposed to be boning that girl, and they said no, we can't do it, and so then he just kind of drifted off into nothingness. 9 movies and 2 are fine classics. Now, for me, the thing that pissed, well, I won't get into too many spoilers. I like the fact that you have Trinity as a Jedi. They sell her.
Carrie Ann Moss. I was trying to remember
Carrie
her
Ann
name
Moss, thank
earlier.
you.
Yeah.
But she's really Trinity in robes, let's be clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have a black
Ish.
you have a black lead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say anything more, because if you haven't
Mm-hmm.
watched The Acolyte, I don't want to get into it. But you've got Jedis being aloof and emotionally distant. You have an angry apprentice who also is force sensitive and can kick ass. You've got robes. You've got droids. You've got aliens that look weird. And you've got a plot of light versus dark. That's basically all Star Wars is. And
It's a
all of those
formula.
elements are there. So I don't get it. You people who are talking, oh, it's not in the writing. Don't talk to me about writing when Luke Skywalker says, but I wanted to go get some powers converters at Tashi Station. Stop it. Stop it. I get it. You were 7 and you got your first boner because Leia was in a gold bathing suit. I get it.
What?
Stop it. It's not that awesome. And so when I see a part of this story, I liked Ahsoka. I did. I enjoyed it. It Space whales I could have done without, but I enjoyed it. So I'm not a person who dislikes Star Wars just on its face, but I think the Acolyte is fine so far. I'm happy to have a new entry, and I'm happy to have a Black protagonist. All you people who hate on anything in your little universes that has a smidgen of melanin in it, go sit down. Or actually, don't go sit down. Go sit in the sun somewhere.
But this is the same thing they did with the same female lead with the same person during the Hunger Games. They were mad that Rue was Black, even though she's described as brown skin with curly hair in the book. And it was, if you read the book and you're not totally immersed in your own sense of whiteness, you will notice that whole district was the Black district.
Black. It was the Southern district. It was like basically we're saying we never left slavery. That's basically what it was. So it's like, I'm sorry, Erica.
You look at Amanda Stenberg when she was when she was the tiny little baby. She was like, what, 12, 13, something, when that movie came out. How could you look at that gorgeous little girl with them big old eyes and think she doesn't look innocent?
Right.
Just because she's not white.
Right.
I mean, I'm still aggravated about that. But then again, I'm in a rage all the time. So
Well, so James, I will say this, because James says I didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars, and so I don't know about the space whales. No. I understand. I know that they didn't come out of nowhere. I'm just saying it's patently ridiculous that an organic being, completely of themselves, can produce transwarp energy and travel between galaxies. Stop it.
But isn't that the same premise from Star Trek Discovery?
Well, they tried. Well, I don't even know if it was within galaxies. I know it was within the galaxy, because they had this mycelium network that supposedly interconnects everything and da-da-da-da-da. But that's not what this is. This is a being moving their body, their whole body, and letting other people inside their body move, as opposed to every single organism in the universe having this mushroom stuff in it. They're both ridiculous, but at least that was a spaceship doing that shit, as opposed to a thing that isn't entirely sentient. If they were smart space whales, that would be one thing. But these whales weren't even completely sentient.
I mean, they knew how to go through space.
So the other part is that I will say the best Star Wars is animated Star Wars. Live action Star Wars, not so much. But the original Clone Wars cartoon, done by the same guy who did Samurai Jack and all of that.
Yeah.
And you got Sam Jack's character, Mace Windu, when he went on that planet and had to kill all of those robots, and because the machine was stomping and making earthquakes and stuff, and he had to get down there and use his force, and that was some badass shit. That was cool. I will give animated stuff and Rebels and all of that, getting into the mythology of all of that. That is really cool. And the way that they bridge Rebels into Ahsoka, and getting Ezra Bridger and all of that was cool. I buy that. But to say that all live action Star Wars has kind of uniformly been like some trip down the light fantastic of excellence is silly. Yeah, right, James. These things are fine. The animated things are fine. But again, it's a lot easier to do stuff in animation when you're kind of projecting into the dreams of people. The animated Darth Vader that they brought in Rebels, I thought was really cool. I mean, there's lots of cool
also
stuff.
The opportunity when you have animation to get it right, like from a director standpoint. If you need someone to do something, you don't have to worry about special effects. You just draw them doing whatever you need them to do. But also there are things that you're able to convey because you can draw it that you we still can't effectively do with live action,
Right. And they got into that in the prequels, where you actually saw Jedi doing things like they could do in the animated series with the big jumps and all of that stuff you just couldn't do in the original trilogy. But again, you also cast Liam Neeson.
Still looking at you stupid for that.
Well, and Jake Lloyd. I'm sorry, Jake. It's not your fault. They shouldn't have cast you. But yeah, no. And Hayden Christensen. Stop. It can't. So I don't understand. Acolyte is early. We've just seen the third episode. And so I'm kind of a completist. The episodes are short, which helps.
Mm-hmm.
It really does help for me to have something that is digestible and easy
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to not.
Right.
So,
Well, just as
what do you
another
think?
PSA when it comes to, the blackening of cinema and everything, television and big screen, keep going to see stuff that you want to see. Because the
Mhm.
more that we can see and support financially the things that we all agree this is good, we want more of this, the more we don't have to go watch the bullshit.
Right.
Looking at you, Good Times cartoon remake. Yeah, I said it. I actually ended up watching two whole episodes, and I was mad again. I was like, I can't. There may be a denouement at the end, but I'm not gonna make it. I'm not
Oh,
gonna get to the mountaintop with you, because oh my god.
no.
Oh, but anyway,
That was nightmarish.
there was a time where we felt like we had to watch everything just to keep black stuff on air, and we've reached a point. Progress comes in different ways.
Hmm.
They may be repealing all the affirmative action, but we reached a point where we don't have to watch every black thing just to make sure black stuff stays on TV now. And I would encourage you also to support multicultural things. There's
Hmm.
really good shows on Netflix and on HBO Max that are centered around the Native American experience, around the Latino experience. Share that and see some similarities, um,
Yeah.
and keep supporting the things that go right, like the Acolyte, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, watch it, give it a chance.
Yeah.
I think that's perfectly fair to say. Also, The Boys um, just dropped.
Was that
Um,
season 4 of The Boys?
season 4, and they've said that there's season 5 is going to be the last
Oh
one.
Lord Jesus!
Um, and
Who else
actually,
can they kill?
well, it's a big thing. There's a huge thing coming in this
Okay.
season, but also Gen V. If you didn't watch Gen V, uh, Gen V was kind of like a bridge series with some young characters, and there are two new black characters that they introduced. One of them, the actor, actually died
Mm.
after the season was wrapped. So I don't know what we're going to see in terms of the continuation of his story, but um, he I think it was a car accident, but they introduced a very powerful new character who is black, and they indicated that their arc would continue in some way in season 4 of The Boys.
Okay.
But they've also introduced some new characters in The Boys for this season, and there's there's lots of stuff coming, and as a matter of fact, the Gen V sets up one of the primary plot devices of season 4, because if you watch Gen V, they were looking into creating a virus that would kill soups, and so
Mm.
that comes into play in this season 4 of The Boys. So um, that's kind of the cinematic blackening segment. And we wanted to close out with what we consider just to be a mix of things that are trending on the interwebs, and also some stuff that we just found to be absolutely adorable. So first up is possibly the song of the summer. I think it probably is the song of the summer.
This
At
is for
one
you,
point,
Erica.
yeah, we thought it might be BBL Drizzy, or we thought it might be Not Like Us. But in fact, clearly the song of the summer is Million Dollar Baby. And one of the things that has become a viral trend is this guy, and we like to try to find the original guy as opposed to people who are leveraging it. And so this guy is in his car singing like a live version of Million Dollar Baby, and he is freaking killing the game. And the video that he created of it, he's singing in this one. This is his original singing, but the video that went viral is him pretending to be the nephew of the guy who was singing and looking at the guy who was singing like he's crazy. So watch with us and enjoy this version, the real version of Million Dollar Baby, because that guy who sings Million Dollar Baby can't actually sing, but this dude has pipes. So here we go. I ain't never represent, baby. I ain't do no wrong. I can clean up good for you. Oh, I know right from wrong. Yes, I want to make it. I'm a million dollar baby. You rap my city for so damn long. You still don't notice me. My sound was just, I can listen to that every time it comes up in my feed. I just have to watch it like 4 times.
Good times go bad. But yeah, I did not know all the words to that song until I heard him say it. His diction in the middle of screaming is amazing.
Yeah, and actually, anybody who rhymes wrong with wrong, I take points off for that.
There's so many other things.
This, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that was the first thing because I that's a hot song, and also in the D9, it's a huge trend. There's all of the D9, at least the D9 male organizations are doing their strolls to this song, and you're getting some pretty smooth stuff going out. So credit to Richmond, the guy. Still no video, by the way. Take a note, please, from the playbook of the Boothang guy. Boothang guy went crazy. You're My Little Boo Thing was the song
of the
last year. And it took him too damn long to get a whole version of the song. And by the time he got a whole version of the song, the whole version of the song wasn't really that impressive. The chorus was still the best part, but it took you too long, bro. Yeah. So Richmond, you're on fire right now. I know you probably don't have a whole album. You have a whole single though. It's a short single.
Right. What happened to the days of putting out a single with like 2 or 3 remixes? Remember the single for Summertime, Will Smith? It was like 13 remixes on there. I had a cassette that had like 5 versions of Pretty Brown Eyes on it. You know?
Listen, do you know how many hungry little rappers there are who would happily do a verse to give you a full ass song? Sexy Red only sold 28,000 copies and she had Drake on her lead single. It's some people who are hungry. Yeah. You talk about some $1 million babies. They want to make it so badly. You need to get a banger. Somebody out the blue, like Method Man says that he don't want to do shows anymore because the kids are too young for him. You get somebody who can do a bad banging verse on $1 Million Baby and get the video done. Because right now you have like a lyric video that's like a retro 8-bit font and like the same 3 or 4 clips in a club. It's not it, man. Get it together, bro, before it's played. It's June, bro. We need the whole song with the whole video.
Sundress season is already here.
It's already here. Where the sundresses at?
So we can do our line dances and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And speaking of line dances, while we're enjoying all the Black Joe, we also, we love to mix it up just a little bit. So, what did you? You know what? I'm just going to show you something without comment, and then you tell me what you see. All right. All the shorties in the club, let me see you dance. Back it up, drop it down, let me see you dance. Keep low, strut the ground, let me see you dance. Push it up, let me see you dance. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble. And why do they all just stand around waiting for the next piece? They don't have a full final 8 count. They just turn it and they just wait until they think they're about to go again, like bad double dutch. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I compared this to a Drake concert doing the wobble because it's so much appropriation. Thank you, Sadida. Get in there. Crowdy, get in there. It's just, what are you doing with the big boots? Like, no, you always have the freedom to look away. But let us have something. Now, granted, it took you 12 years to get the wobble.
And the thing is, the wobble is easier than what they were doing.
It's completely easier. Because he's doing the big stomping back and stomp back and then they just start winding up. They don't even know what they're doing. They're reeling in a fish or something.
Right.
And then he turns around and scoots all the way down to the floor and his little girl.
Because he saw somebody freestyle with that at a Harlem Shuffle or something. They've taken the Harlem Shuffle, the wobble, the Cupid Shuffle, the Icky Shuffle. Right. all of them, the deck of cards shuffle, all of it, and just throwing some things against the wall and said, we can all do these. Let's put them together. It's not a full, 4/8 count, but fuck it. Just stop when you stop and then wait for it to start over again. And make sure you turn 90 degrees to the left. Like, the hell?
So going from grown up people that can't dance at all, we have two more things that were just magical. And these are like 5 and 6 year olds in this next clip who are absolutely killing the game. Like, I don't know, this was a tribute to Jackie Robinson at somebody's grade school or somebody's church.
It was a whole like Black History thing. There were other
Haitian Bible school, whatever. And these kids absolutely bring the noise and the funk. So let's take a look at this.
Jackie Robinson hit that ball. Kid went zooming across the left field wall. Yeah, boy. Yes, Jackie hit that ball. And when he swung his bat, the crowd went wild because he knocked that ball a solid mile. Yeah, boy. Yes, Jackie hit that ball.
That is just the cutest.
And the thing that I really appreciate about that is that is a song where you would not expect these kids to embrace those dance moves, that music, that singing style, and they were completely in it. I mean, they might as well have been in an Oscar Micheaux film. They were killing it.
There's so many things that I love about that performance, because one, you got a stage full of young Black boys expressing themselves through music and song, like through art,
dance,
and they're dancing, and they're allowed to dance, and they're encouraged to dance, to express themselves this way. You might find the next Alvin Ailey, in that group, and it seems like a very simple swing the bat, go to the side, but somebody in there spark is being lit, and it was fire. I loved it all. And then other people are seeing young Black boys with this exuberance and this innocence and this desire to just have fun. Total theater guy. But I thought this was great, and I would love to see more of it. We need as many examples of our future being robust as we can.
So this last thing, I shared it with Joy because it came up on my feed. And again, we're Gen X. And so the Black voice of Gen X, that wasn't Michael Jackson or Prince, the kind of just solidly R&B voice was Luther Vandross. So again, a situation where 7 and 8 year olds, I would never expect 7 and 8 year olds to be grooving, this is the blue
Their parents raised them right, exposed them to some good music.
That's what I'm saying. So this absolutely filled me with joy. And when you see these little kids and they little outfits, and the little boys got fake gold chains and all of that, these kids are tearing it up. So enjoy this. This is the capstone to this show. We're trying to do something special for Juneteenth. We might actually be on actual Juneteenth next week. Just as a heads up, we'll let you know when we post the show. But we're trying to do something special for next week. But this is what we consider to be a great way to close out the show. And so just sit back, enjoy. I don't think they are, Erica. You might know better than me. You can always feel that shuffle was ruffled. Okay. Stop talking about the kooky Drake people. This is Black Joy. So here we are. So you can see the whole. There's a longer version of that video on TikTok. There's like a 3-minute version. It kind of stitches together a couple of different people and different camera phones, but you do get to see more of the show. And that's one of my favorite Luther Vandross songs.
Yeah.
First of all, because it is one of his few up-tempo songs. He doesn't have a whole lot of up-tempo songs, but that's like that one. Ooh, yeah. And
Right. It also reminds me of the house party era.
It is.
No,
it's very much a house party. Mm-hmm. And these kids were just like, the swinging arms and the little girls and
let's
the little
take
boys.
A minute to appreciate the costumes too. I saw they got all the kids out there looking like The Rock in high school with the turtleneck and the big gold chain on.
I love it. It was so great. I had to find the longer version. I was like, I just need to see this whole thing. And when they do the breakdowns and all that stuff, it really is stunning and amazing to see what those kids did. It was just really a pleasure.
So I'm going to add another plug to make sure that you follow and you encourage your friends to follow Steel Sharpen Steel on Instagram, because one of the reasons that we find these things, in addition, I'm also want to thank Vera and CJ and Bob Radine and a few other people for sending us some of the clips that we used during the show. But keep pumping up the show and keep getting people to follow our Instagram page, and we will clean up your algorithm. We will get you to be having things that are useful, good political information, black boy joy, black girl magic, black excellence in general, because we follow all those other places and we repost a lot of things we see, and it'll slowly, if you follow us, you'll slowly but surely see more positive black images in your Instagram feed, which for me is a lifesaver.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We want to share the Steel Sharpen Steel experience with as many people as possible. This is the summer of expansion. This is the era of expansion. So we want to really invite people. What we're thinking about doing also is taking the audio feed of the podcast and start sharing it on the podcast again, because we haven't shared the audio of the podcast really since the first year that we did this. We started
on like Spotify or
it will be on Spotify and Apple. We're already plugged in Amazon, wherever you listen to podcasts. So if you think that would be a good idea, you can drop a comment right now, and I can actually start feeding the feed again, like immediately. I can literally do it tomorrow. So let us know, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when we have, thank you, Vera Jordan, yes, expansion, when we have the opportunity to grow, especially as we go into this political season. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to engage and enjoy what we do. We love doing what we do, and we want to create a platform that allows us to continue to deliver this content, make it better and better every single week. And we love going on this journey with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the diehards who raced to come into the feed right away. James Herndon, you get the trophy this week. And Anthony Turner, always king of the comments, by far had the most comments this time. But Erica and Vera, everybody who
Chan, we see
who's
all our day ones. We love y'all.
All y'all. We love you to pieces, and we wish you the best. Go see Bad Boys. It is worth watching. And
check out the Acolyte.
Check out the Acolyte, absolutely, and even check out Garfield, because that's Sam Jackson. So you can do that too. He plays Garfield's dad, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Which I did not know. I thought he would be a great Garfield, but they of course have Chris in there. Thank you, Sadida. We love you, and we will see you next week. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I gotta get to there. It is.